Luke, thank you so much.
Pleasure, man. Thanks for having me on.
You intrigued me.
Okay.
Nietzsche used to say, when you find your why, you can endure any how.
Yes.
And last time we had a chat, it was really important what you said about training the mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk about biceps, I don't want to talk about triceps, I don't want to talk about strongman volume, because I think it's a higher purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the mind.
Yes, for sure. Brilliant. There's not much up there, but hopefully we can chat a little bit about it. Yeah, it's obviously we've chatted before, and I think this last year, I think for me has really made me see the benefits of training the mind. You know, it's not just something you can just flick a switch and then it's like, oh yeah, I've got everything nailed. Even now, you know, talking to yourself, talking to a psychologist, talking to my wife, talking to the guys that we work with, we're learning every day, and I think it's been open to the fact that every day we actually do learn stuff. You know, the mind is it can be such a baffling place. You know, you get very clouded sometimes, and for me it's just been able to make that mind a little less clouded, and that's what I've done this year.
It's a dark room in there.
Yeah, it can be. It
can be a dark room.
Yeah, very
you know what I mean?
Dark places. And I actually had a massage down in the hotel this morning, and speaking to the lady that was massaging me, she'd gone through some trauma, and now she's coming back out the other end of it. It's been almost 3 years, she said. So we started chatting about, you know, people that vibrate on the same frequency, and you know, people's vibrations and people's level of the frequency they vibrate.
Oh, I love that.
You know, so and I'm a great believer in that. You meet people that are kind of pulled into you, I think, and vice versa. You're pulled into them, and learning that not all these people that are attracted to you are necessarily going to be positive. You've got to kind of distinguish that yourself, and for me, that's something that's very important. If you're not bringing something positive, yeah, you've got to just kind of be strong enough, be assertive enough to say, look, I'm going to distance myself from you, you know, and that's something that I found very hard before, has been that kind of...
You're a giver.
Yeah, a giver, yeah, just kind of trying to give to people even though when they're having that negative impact on you. And it's not just you, because if you're having a negative impact on yourself, then I'm going to have a negative impact on my wife, my family, you know, the people I care about. So I've got to look after myself so then I can be positive and look after others as well. So me being a giver is okay, but I've got to look after myself first, and then I can give.
You have to give.
Yes, definitely.
You know what I mean? You cannot give from an empty cup.
For
you know,
sure. Yeah, so it's you know yourself, like the mind's just what you did with me last time. You know, you did something in my stomach that hurt, and then thought of something happy, and then it was okay again. You know, so it's these little things, but they're only little things once you know about them. They seem so far-fetched. So for me, swimming in the cold water in the morning, seeing the sun, it's so simple for me now. But for someone else, if you explain to someone, yeah, we go out swimming in the sea in December, January, when it's starting to freeze over, it's -16, and like, you're an idiot, why are you doing that? But for us, we know the benefits, you know, the reset for me, the clarity I get. I don't know the science, I don't know what it is about it, but for me it works, and that's all that matters. So
thank you for saying that, because I've got the same problem when we trying to put too much science in things, and they're usually in a lab.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, if you do a cold immersion, you're not going to have hypertrophy,
Yeah.
all that bullshit.
Yeah.
But the benefit you get, that reset, as you said, is what you need.
Yeah.
And if that's what works for you, that's what you keep doing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's to now in society as we are today, certainly since, you know, COVID and the pandemic and lockdowns and not seeing people and all this stuff, you know, it's people telling you, just constant telling, this is what you're supposed to do, and you're getting orders from everyone, and it's this very authoritative kind of state that we're in now. But sometimes you need to make the right decision for yourself and what works best for you, because I know what works for me. I know what makes me happy, you know, and being happy, you know, I said it before when we were speaking in Arnold, you know, being happy is for me the single most important thing at the moment in my life, is being happy. I'm only going to do stuff that makes me happy, that gets me excited, you know, that kind of gets my brain going or my heart going, and it's nice to be in that position now where I'm at, that I'm confident to say, like that's not really for me. It's not my cup of tea. It's not going to do anything for me. Yeah,
Move on.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes, definitely. So,
And happiness is a state. You can, if you're happy all the time, well, you must be on drugs or something. You know what I mean?
definitely.
It's not static. And as you said before, like when you went to the gym the first time, you didn't bench 200 kilos. Same thing with the brain. You know, you're building up.
Yes.
You're building up.
Yeah.
How did that come up? Yeah, like you went from a bro
Yeah.
to one of the, for me, one of the most inspirational talks, especially what I saw in Arnold's.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of your videos, and whenever we chat, I get a lot from you.
Thank you. That's
Where
nice.
did that, where urgency coming from?
I think learning to. So, Mum passed away in 2016.
Sheila.
Sheila, yeah, my mum Sheila, yeah. So that's her. All the tattoos and stuff are all kind of in remembrance of her. So I think it was once I learned to deal with the reason why Mum had to pass. It was so Tom and I could then go on and fulfil this journey that we're on. You know, use her life, use her passing as an inspiration, and to see that pain that she went through. It's almost used that as a good thing. You know, at the time it was the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life. But looking back on it, analysing why things happen, Mum had to pass away for us to be able to be this force. You know, the strongest brothers that's ever lived, two of the world's strongest men. Tom's the world's strongest man. You know, having that success is because Mum's passed. So for me now being able to talk about that, I think that's one of the biggest things, and it's like how I manage to speak about that now is because of the stuff I do, the cold water, the training, the kind of the people I have around me, the support team, the therapists I speak to. You know, it's analysing things, and for me being able to talk about it again, I'm not academically minded. You know, I think I'm still okay. I'm not a stupid guy. But for me, I talk a lot from my heart and what my heart feels. So, yeah, it was horrible when Mum died. Yeah, it's horrible seeing someone suffer and go through all that pain. But what's come out of it? Like, you know, we managed to buy Dad a pickup because of Mum passing and all these little things. So, I just, yeah.
She hasn't passed.
No, man, she's still my mum. She's still Mum, you know, and that's the thing. She still has that. Someone said to me, just because someone's passed doesn't mean you stop having a relationship with them. And that made me feel really almost okay with things, you know, because I still see Mum every day. I still have, you know, chats with her, and like I sit out on her steps and have a coffee every morning and I can see her, you know, so it's not that she's gone. I've got her in my arm, you know. Dad's garden in the summer, Mum's favourite flower was sunflowers, so we've got probably over 1,000 sunflowers in the garden every summer. So it's just these little things, and I get frustrated with the society that we're in. It's not. I don't think it's our fault directly. It's the agenda or the way things are put out there that, you know, it is okay to be not okay and all the rest of it, and that's fine. But it just seems to stop there. We need to have it's okay not to be okay, but let's do something about it. Let's try and fix ourselves. So let's find that coping mechanism. What have you tried? You know, rather than go straight to like antidepressants or, you know, these drugs, you know, numbing, that's all you're doing. You're not dealing with that trauma. And as you know, trauma is the root cause of every
Reactive person.
Yeah. So why aren't we using what we have? I mean, the Scottish Government declared a mental health crisis at the start of the year and donated or put 1 point whatever billion pounds to Scotland. But that's just, we're just repeating the same thing, you know, giving money and then starting up charities and stuff. That's fine, but we need to do something new and something different. And I think if someone like myself, someone like Tom, you know, Tom's 6'8", almost 190 kilos, you know, if we can talk about it and be open and get emotional and, you know, this is what we've gone through and this is where we're at now, then you don't need to numb yourself. We all have these emotions in our body. So let your body feel them. Let your body feel sadness, anger.
Be vulnerable.
Exactly.
Be vulnerable.
Yeah, for sure. Because for me, again, I just see it as how I interpret things. If my body needs to cry, I cry. If my body needs to be sad, be sad. If it needs to be angry, be angry. But, you know, just, you can't really, for me, I can't control my emotions. I can control how I react. So if I'm reacting in a way that's positive to my journey, so to speak, that's what I try and do, you know. So I like to talk about things. I like to, you know, voice how I'm feeling and why I'm feeling like that, or why I think I'm feeling like that. And yeah, hopefully people can take something away from it. And hopefully we can change, you know. That's what I've got a really, I think my purpose is to do something bigger with people, as in, you know, breaking that mould of going to the doctors, getting antidepressants. I'm not feeling good, I'm depressed. Well, okay, fine.
Take this.
Yeah, take this, and it just numbs you. It doesn't cure.
No, it's like you have a flat tire and you go in and put more air in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's, and as you said before, I think the true liberty is on how we act and choose to act and not react in anything that happens, right? Because it is to react and take a pill, drink, smash things or whatever,
Yes.
right? It's so easy. Lack of education is one thing, lack of openness, finding help, because there are a lot of toxic people around us and we don't understand that.
Yep.
And it's really important that your whole career changed when you were more vulnerable, more aware. And when you said, Luke Stoltman starts here, the Highland Oak is something different.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I want to know, who's Luke Stoltman? Who's the Highland Oak?
Yeah, that's a good question, yeah. So I guess, yeah, the Highland Oak is the person I've got to become when I'm at these competitions. You know, when I'm competing, that's my, that's when I start, we spoke earlier with you and said, you know, this evening I'll start to switch on and trying to get more focused. And that's when I become into that competition mode, and that's when where the Highland Oak takes over. You know, this is my job, this is what I've got to do, I've got to be this person now that isn't a clown, isn't playing up to people, and I just switch off and just focus on the job. You know, I know what I need to do to win. That's the thing. It's done. The blueprint's here. Follow that blueprint, tick these things off, and I can beat anyone in the world.
What's focus? You said it many times.
Focus is just being there, being present, and not letting things distract me. Before, I'd be worried about other athletes, if what they were doing. It's almost a confidence as well, being confident in me and what I need. So when I'm confident, and so with the psychologist, we go through our pre-performance checklist. So this is what I've got to do. So,
You like boxes, right?
yeah.
I'm the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so just
Tick, tick, tick.
tick. It's dead easy, dead, very black and white. So for me, I know what I need to do, and then when I'm there, I put my headphones on. Sometimes I'm not even listening to anything, I just have the headphones on so people don't come up to me, and it's very easy.
Distract you.
Yeah, to distract, and then also the energy thing as well, you know. So if I'm in that moment, if I'm just there, people have a tendency then to be drawn to you and tell you their problems as well. That's what's happened before. So as soon as someone starts talking about their problems in a competition environment, that's you distracted, yeah. So that's what I was before. This year's completely different. I've got to be almost learning to be okay. It's okay to be selfish, you know, in these competitions. And I was always worried before, like, I've got to look after Tom or, you know, any of the other athletes that I'm competing with. But Tom's world's strongest man. You know, Tom doesn't need me to, oh, are you okay, Tom? You need anything? That's not my job. My job is to be the Highland Oak, the professional strongman, to focus on the job at hand, which is winning Britain's strongest man, world's strongest man. You know, that's, for me, that's all I need to do. So just being aware of those, the kind of, the things that can come in, you know, just to keep myself away from them, you know. So it's have that vision of what I need to do. So like now I'm starting to vision me being on that podium, you know, that first place podium, looking down on everyone else. That's
my focus.
Yeah, that focus. So that's all I'm thinking about now is number one on the podium, and that's it. It's not very hard for me now to focus because I know, again, with these tick boxes, wake up, have breakfast, go back up to the room.
Routine.
Yeah, routine, that's all it is.
Where do you get that urgency from, that power? Where does this come from?
I think I owe a lot of thanks to our psychologist, Amy, So she's kind of opened me, because initially when I spoke to Amy, I've known Amy for a few years now, and I said, I think it'd be good to work with you for Tom. So I was getting her on board for Tom, and then she's, it'd be good, it'd definitely be awesome to work with Tom. Do you want to have a chat about you as well? I was like, yeah, but I'm okay, I'm fine. Me, I was like, that was an eye opener. Like, and again with Amy, we've had so many, like, it's like fireworks going off in my head sometimes when I'm speaking to her. It's like, because I used to call myself this Highland dafty. I'm just an idiot from the Highlands of Scotland. And she's like, look, see when you call yourself this Highland dafty or an idiot from the Highlands of Scotland, what is it you mean? Like, let's write a list. So why are you an idiot?
Excellent, yeah.
I'm like, I was like, I kind of like to joke around in a competition. She said, right, okay, anything else? I was like, well, I couldn't really think of anything else. But then she said, let's flip it. What is it you do? So you're a professional strongman, you own a business, you've worked offshore for 16 years, you've got your own house, you've got your own business, all these things. It was like a long list of things that I'm actually doing okay at. So it was learning to, I kind of had a tendency to...
Learn to win.
Learn to win, yeah, definitely.
And accept the win.
Accept that it's okay to stand up and say, I'm actually doing okay. I don't have to dumb myself down.
You didn't steal, you worked hard for that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
It's achievement, man, like...
Yeah, and it's been okay to say that. It's the way we're now able to look after like our family, our dad, and we live right next door to Dad, so he sees us every day. Tom and I, we've got this business that's going well. We now employ our brother Harry. We've got Simon and Gabrielle working for us. Stoltman merch. It's all these little things that I was always against, kind of seeing the benefit or the positive. Sorry.
And maybe the bigger picture as well.
Yeah. Like, I think because certainly in the Highlands we've got a tendency to see the glass as always half empty as opposed to half full. So we've got that kind of mindset that's been, you're from the Highlands or Invergordon, nothing should happen. You shouldn't amount to anything, and that's how I kind of got in society, in our area. That's how we all were. So it's almost like breaking that mould. You get moulded into a certain way, and just
plus
work.
The impact you've got in Scotland now. You know what I mean? Because every little kid.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's massive what you created, because we need to see that the first corn just popped and popcorn is going to start cooking.
Yes.
It's massive, the impact you're going to have.
That's the goal. That's, for me, it's showing people in the Highlands in Scotland and the UK, that it is attainable. Because when I saw likes of Eddie Hall, Brian Shaw, Haft, Thor, Big Z be all really successful, all that made me think, well, I can do that. Like, why can't I follow in their footsteps? Like, when I surround myself with successful people, and it just feeds, you just feed off that energy and that, like, success. It's like, well...
Synergy,
yeah, of course. And like, you get people that become jealous and bitter and like, oh, well, that should have happened. Why has that not happened to me? But I think for me, I've got that work ethic, that drive, that want, that why, like, for Mum's memory, I want to be able to put the name Stoltman throughout the world. It's going to be the most, notorious name and strength. And that's what, for me, that's my drive, is to, our granddad came over from the war in Poland, in the 40s, set up his own business, married a German lady back in the 40s. So, we've got that Polish and German heritage in our genes. That Stoltman, that came from...
Man, in Norway, this means proud man.
Proud man, yeah. And that's, for me...
It's on the tin.
Well, that's it. I always say, you've got to take great pride in what you do. And for me, the name Stoltman makes me proud when I see it up in lights. And I want to do, our grandfather, our Opa, as we called him, when he was alive, he was such a proud man of our achievements, and he didn't even get to see us in competition. He just saw us, training and, going offshore and doing well in that sense. So he never even got to see this. So for me, this is us repaying our, previous generations of all the hard work, that adversity they went through. And now it's that road, we've always been on that road of strength, but strength is there's so much more than just physical. you know, and that's, for me, that's what I need to showcase more. I think being mentally strong, you know, having that mental strength is so important.
You can be great. You can be strong in the gym. You can be the strongest lad, but you're not going to be great.
Yeah, yeah.
When you start training the mind, that's the only way you can get great.
It's there, you know. That's Tom and I have both started dealing with things, training our mind, working with our mind. Tom's now world's strongest man. I'm Europe's strongest man. We've won the 2 biggest titles in strongman this year. So, and that's not just by chance. You know, Tom's beating the greats. You know, Brian Shaw, Alexei. You know, all these great guys. I had to fight off Alexei again at Europe's. You know, and it's not like we're not beating. Like I class Alexei Novikov as one of the greatest athletes in our sport, you know, of all time. I think he's an incredible athlete. His mindset, and I think it's been around athletes like that you can feel that energy, that spark. You know, when you're with them, it's like something's just firing, and you know they're doing what they can do to work on their mind, and vice versa. You know, we're both doing it, and that's when something beautiful comes off it. You know, that's why, you know, I think Alex and I are very close, and we have that utmost respect for each other, as I do with a lot of other athletes. But it's just very fascinating that when you start to realise that this up here, the mind, is so powerful.
Controls everything.
Yeah, it's everything. If you can control that mind, oh, geez, man, you know, all these self-doubts. You know, I'm just some guy from the Highlands. I work offshore. My mum's just passed away. I can't do this. I'm not trained with the right kit. I'm not, you know, all these doubts, and they mean nothing.
Words are codes, and I always say use them really wisely, because what you put in is what you're going to become.
Right. Yes.
So
yes.
when you were saying that, I'm just daft from up in the Highlands.
Yeah.
You were actually the magnitude was that.
Yes.
You were actually bringing in that.
Definitely.
When you said I'm the Highland Oak, you know, I'm the big guy.
Yep.
Things changed.
Definitely.
What happened to Luke Stoltman?
He's I think even my wife Kush, you know, she sees a difference in me. You know, the way I present myself now, the way I kind of hold myself in conversation with different people. Before you'd almost shy away from the confidence thing. You know, I'm more confident in my own person now. I don't, you know, we all get anxiety. We all suffer from, you know, those moments. Like I still struggle to go in the supermarket. You know, I get like anxiety and I start sweating. I'm like, oh, I don't like this. So that's where the team, my wife, you know, she has that support. She knows I'm open with her. You know, sometimes I do get stressed out. I do have this little.
You're human.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And that's when she kind of steps in and says, yeah, I've got this. It's fine, whatever you need. And yeah, for me, there's been different, I think, evolutions of me as a person, you know. So when I was in school, I was very shy, didn't like to speak up in front of class.
Look at you now.
I mean, yeah, a couple of weeks ago we were speaking.
Oh, the Arnolds, man.
Arnolds, yeah.
People were crying. I was crying. Thanks for that.
Hopefully for good reasons.
Yes.
But it's amazing to see that evolution, you know, and I think as the younger generation hopefully realise that what they're like now, it doesn't have to be like that, you know. And you know, if we can, that's where I want to kind of target a lot of people as well, because the youth, the young generation, that's where it all matters. You know, we need to make a change with them and realise that, yeah, you're going through different things. You know, you've got hormones going on. You're going to get anxiety.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Exactly,
like, you know?
Yeah. It's going to get better. What you do now, like, just put in those coping mechanisms. Try learning what helps, what kind of makes you better. So I think that's something that we try to do back home in Invergordon in the gym. That's the ethos we have there, you know. It's being open and being able to talk about kind of our feelings, or, you know, if there's things going on, is be open and be there. And there is a really good supportive network there. You know, there's a young lad, guy, his name's Luke as well. He's just started coming to the gym, plays rugby. He's a big young lad, but then he started to come to the sauna. He does the cold tub with us. He's 15-year-old. You know, if I was 15 and I'm sat next to...
That's what I was going to ask. How would things be now? You know what I mean?
Man, it'd be like 15-year-old sat next to the world's strongest man. Like, if that's not enough to inspire someone to do, like, you're from the same town, you're in the same school, Tom's was brought up with autism, you know, we've lost mum, you know, all these adversities we've overcome. I've had to work offshore for 16 years, not been able to train. You know, I've had to do those things for me to be able to do what I do now, and that's just life.
Maybe we need those adversities.
Yeah, I think so, man. Yeah,
Because
definitely.
when things are too easy, nothing comes out. Except if you're in a really high level and you haven't been through shit that I say. You need to go through that sometimes. I'm not saying that. I hate when people say, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." I don't really like that. Things should be a bit easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
But having the right environment to actually blossom, that plays a massive role.
Definitely. And I think, like you say, if things are too easy, like what we do is hard. Like, you know, lifting cars, like, and any, you know, as any elite athlete, it's very hard to become that elite athlete. So if you're not used to having anything put in front of you, or adversity, or whatever it is, you know, you look at all the great athletes, they've all got a story and, you know, why they're great. You know, even when they're younger, they're training like footballers, you know, just out training all the time. Boom, 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 every day. That's all they want. You know, but you've got to have that passion, that yeah, you know it's hard, but there's a reason why it's hard, because you want to become the best. So
And that's what passion means. It means something that I really like, I really love, but also means pain.
yeah, okay.
Okay?
Right, okay.
So like when we say about the passion of Christ that one you went through, it's a painful path, but it's something you endure because you have a why.
Right, okay.
That's how I see it.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
there's no other way you can endure that if that's not something that's congruent with what?
Yeah.
With you, with your vibrations, your frequency. And you talked about your wife.
Yeah.
Behind the oak,
Yeah.
there must be a stronger person.
Oh, geez, yeah, she's,
I met her, she's amazing.
yeah,
She's strong.
she's a strong lady, yeah, Kush. She's, I don't know the politically correct terms, but her mum's African, Indian African, so she's got that mixed race with her, and growing up in London, I think, you know, that racial stuff, you know, that happened to her, and even now as a couple, you know, I've had comments from, like, oh, you've ruined your genes. I'm like, it just baffles me that people, you know, it's just mad. But we have a laugh about it because she's very thick-skinned. She takes it all on her chin, and you know, she didn't really like. Now what we're doing, it's like Tom and I we can't go out for dinner without getting photos and stuff now, which is mad. So she didn't sign up for that. She like fell in love with me, you know, just this.
Luke.
Yeah, me, yeah, and that's enough. But she's
Support, and you know what I mean?
it's without her, like, until Kush and I were together, that's when things started to go on the up, you know, so it was, and that's no disrespect to anyone else I was with before in the past, but, you know, you find that right person you're with and everything just...
Frequencies.
Yeah, the vibrations, we're vibrating the same frequencies, we share the same thoughts, the same morals, you know, we're very similar in that sense. Kush is a very hard-working person, and that's something I really respect about her. She does untold amounts of work in the house, you know, and then she has her own business, does her makeup and eyelashes, and she just, being the wife of an athlete is
Tough job,
it's tough, it's not easy. So
Kudos to you,
yeah, and it's because especially if it's like your individual athlete as well, because you then have to be selfish for you to succeed, and to find someone that's okay with that is very hard, you know, because it does mean that I have to be selfish, as in we can't go on holiday, we can't see our friends, we can't go out drinking, you know, all these things, and thankfully Kushi's okay with that, you know, it's nice, it's, without Kush I wouldn't be anywhere. She's you know, you talk about having that person, that partner that makes you a better person, and Kushi's definitely that for me. I would have been a mess without her. And, you know, we've gone through ups and downs.
Oh yeah, that's life.
Yeah, of course it is, man. It's you know, again, that when Mum passed, I resented the fact that Kushi still had her family, you know, and I used to always start a fight before we used to go out for dinner with her mum and dad, and like I didn't understand why this was, like, why am I fighting so much? And then speaking to the psychologist, like, look, you've lost like your sunshine, your everything in your life. And, you know, thankfully Cushy's still got her parents, and that's amazing. But there's reasons why you're getting anxious or angry, and, you know, learn to deal with that and process that. And now, you know, the in-laws, you know, Cushy's mum and dad, Raga and Douglas, you know, we love them to bits. Her dad, Douglas, is very spiritual, and, you know, does meditation and, you know, sound baths, and we kind of vibe on that nice level now, you know, so it's really... Exactly, yeah. So it's nice how things have all kind of come together now, and you know, I get kind of comfort from the fact, you know, that Cushy's parents are still there, and, you know, Cushy's mum Raga, she's a lovely lady, she's almost like a second mum, you know, she is a second mum to me now, so, but it just takes time, and it takes a little bit of kind of stepping back and realising, well, I'm still kind of going through this trauma and trying to deal with that, and you need to deal with the trauma, and then it might never go away, but learning to cope with it, I think that's really important, and that's something that
you know it's there. You know what I mean? You're aware of it, you become vulnerable, and then you try to solve it.
Yes, definitely. And I think, again, I said it earlier, if we can, like, big, strong men physically can, you know, learn to, you know, maybe we're not mentally strong enough to do this, but then we're kind of analysing it, we're getting help, we're talking about it, we're doing different things, being more open to the holistic side of things, and I think that's very important. Certainly the last year and a half that we've had, you know, taking those little things that we should take for granted, you know, going out for a walk, you know, we couldn't do that. That was like...
Simple things.
Yeah, simple things.
But that's where everything is, in the simple things.
It's, yeah, the simple things are just the ones that, you know, keep it simple. That's what, you know, the saying is, and I think until you really analyse that and kind of let that digest, you don't really know the true meaning of that. If keep things simple, it's, yeah, looking out, seeing the sunrise. You know, thousands of years ago, we used to give praise to the sun when it woke. You know, when you wake up, the sun's here. We can then grow food. We can get warm because, you know, back then.
Take that for granted.
Yeah. It gave us light. It gives us energy. It gives us this feeling of being alive. You know, if without the sun, it's just dark.
That's it.
And you don't want to be in the dark. You don't want to be. But yeah, it's funny, like, when you speak to certain people as well, because a lot of people just, like, maybe don't understand what you're trying to say, and they'd laugh at you, and they kind of think you're being a bit airy-fairy, and, oh, you're just a hippie, or you're just all this, and I'm like, well, yeah, but it works.
Do some ayahuasca, you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's next, yeah. But I think people are scared sometimes of, maybe not changing, but just doing something different.
Change. I think they fear change because they don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And what I always say is the only thing that doesn't change is change.
It's true.
So if you don't change and you don't follow that, then you're going to be in a really bad part. You're going to be reactive as a personality.
Yeah.
You're always going to be toxic.
And yeah, toxic isn't good. You know, you just got to. And I think what I've learned as well a lot is, like, if people have these problems and they lash out at you and they're angry or because you've done something, and in reality you haven't done anything, it's just you're speaking. It's not your problem, it's their problem. You know, they've got that problem. Yeah, of course, you just got to, because again, with what we do, and, you know, you get comments and stuff, and thankfully, touch wood, we don't have that many negative comments, but there is still ones that come in, and so, you know what, if you don't like us, that's fine. That's your opinion. You're totally entitled to that. You know, it's not our problem. We can't. What I'm doing is just me. You know, if you don't like me, then that's fine. That's on you.
Turn it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's it's just a learning curve that we're on, and I think for me, I just really enjoy the mental side of things a lot at the moment. Because physically, you know, again, all we're doing is following a training program. It's not simple, but it's a lot more simple than looking inside here sometimes, you know, and that's the scary part.
It's an abyss.
Yeah, geez, man, it's like, you go back 20, 30 years, oh, remember that time whenever something happened, and then that triggers something, and then that's the reason why you're this way, and, you know, trying to, like, analyse and develop.
Clean the closet, putting some order, you know, in the chaos.
Definitely. So, but again, if someone can take a little bit of, I don't know, take a little bit of what we're trying to do and we're speaking about, and I genuinely believe that's what I'm trying to do is for the greater cause and the greater good, and trying to get the young people to see that there is a way. You don't just have to, because again, back in school, from my school days, you had to be pigeonholes. You know, it's like if a box. Yeah, this is, you have to be an accountant, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a maths teacher. You know, it's like, well,
no one told you to be happy.
To be happy, yeah. And like as a kid, as a 9, 10, 12-year-old child, that's what you should be telling them. Be happy. You don't have to be. Don't get me wrong. There's great people that are academically so clever, so intelligent. But on the other hand, there's vast amounts of people that are intelligent that aren't academically intelligent. It's learning what is best for you. You know, you don't have to put pressure on a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old to pick a fucking career. I didn't know what I wanted to do until I was a couple of years ago when I went full time. You know, yeah. So but that's what I struggle with, the pigeonholing of people, because everyone's so different. You just don't know, and if we could just maybe just let kids...
Let people be them.
Yeah. It's not hard for us to let kids just have a little bit of fun. What do you like doing? Oh, I really like painting. Oh, let's explore that option. Or I'm really into computers. Yeah, definitely. And not be so caught up in you need to get 5 A's to get into this uni, and if you don't, your whole life's going to end. You know, that's what kids... And I feel devastated when I see kids getting so pent up about results and getting so stressed out, and that's their everything, you know. And what their everything should be is having friends, having, you know, good times, making memories, not on a bit of paper that in the big scheme
means nothing.
Yeah,
and if you see that's a bit of a craziness there. People that are really great, doesn't mean that they were the outliers, because everybody was like, oh, you're not going to do anything in your life. And then they went.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because it's funny. That's what someone said to Tom, one of the teachers. Like, you'll never. Tom, you probably won't do much. You'll probably just work in the supermarket. And you know, here's Tom. You know, one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet.
Yeah.
Gentle giant, but such a switched on guy with training, recovery.
Authentic.
Yeah, definitely. Like, you're never going to meet another Tom Stoltman, you know, and hopefully another Luke Stoltman. But you know, that's the thing. It's you get told a lot of things. You know, there's a lot of negative, and it's not their fault. It's not the teacher's fault. It's that's what they've been taught. This is the curriculum they've got to stick to. And if a kid isn't functioning on that level, then they're obviously going to say, well, this child isn't probably going to do much, because that's what they've been taught. But surely saying that to a child isn't good. You know, if someone ever said that to my child, yeah, it wouldn't end well for the teacher, put it that way. Because it's not the way we should be teaching kids. Like, okay, you're not so good at that. Don't worry about it, it's fine. You know, you've got it. Yeah. Like,
It's not the end of the world.
yeah, like back in school.
You're 10.
Yeah, you're 10. I can't do Pythagoras. Oh no, like, when am I ever going to use Pythagoras? It just blows my mind, and all these weird and wonderful things. And I'm not down in school at all. I'm not down in the academics at all. But I'm just saying there is a different side of intelligence, and I think that needs to be rewarded just as much as, you know, people getting 5 A's or master's degrees. And you know, if someone, I remember the first time Tom went on a train. Tom went from one station to another station, about a 5-minute train journey. That was like so a game changer for Tom, because he would never leave Mum, he'd never leave us by himself. So he went on, bought himself a ticket, went to the next station, got off, then we picked him up, and then he went home. And you know, we were delighted for him, we were celebrating, and it's like taking the small ones, you know, and
small wins.
And for Tom, that must have made him feel so good, because for him that was massive, you know, going on a train full of strangers, and oh, it's dangerous, and you know, in his head it was built up to be something really dangerous and scary, and then him doing that, so, oh, this isn't bad.
And also finding the way to actually see what's best for him. because then he can communicate, this is the way I learn better, this is the way I like things to be, this
Yep.
is the way I feel safe.
Of course, of course.
And then you find that way,
Yeah, 'cause
rather than saying, you're not going to do anything.
definitely, definitely. Because if you're saying that to somebody, like, geez, a lot of kids would take that on the head and just become a recluse, or, you know, not be maybe that socially active, or, you know, it's like a confidence block. They're knocking their confidence, and you want to build up kids' confidence and give them that confidence to succeed in anything they want to do. And because, you know, back when you're a young kid, you know, it's like anything you want, you can, if you dream it, you can do it, and, you know, all this stuff. And then it's like that for the first few years, and then it kind of goes away, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I want to become an astronaut. Well, you can't do that. Let's look at something else you can do. But it's yeah, I struggle a little bit with that aspect of things, because for me, I think the kids and stuff are, you know, the most important thing for them is to be happy. And if they're not getting taught that, then I don't know.
We failed.
I think we have failed. Yeah, I think there's a big failure there. If there's a mental health crisis, and it's going into like 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds, and like I've spoke to families that their 8, 9-year-old daughters like hurting themselves, and for me, I'm like, that's not okay. That's like, for me, that's heartbreaking. It really gets me in the heart, because when I was an 8-year-old boy, I was just bouncing around playing football, building tree houses, cutting trees, making fires, and, you know, just being a wee nuisance and being happy. So for a kid to
feel that.
It's something needs to change, because something really needs to be done to tackle that kind of type of stuff, because that's not okay, man. That's not. So that's why, like Tom and I, we try and, you know, do as much as we can with people that come to watch the shows. We try and, you know, get as many photos we can, and, you know, make a lot of time for people, because
You both are really humble. That's the first thing I said, and that's why I wanted to ask you now. What's next?
What's next? So, yeah, we're in World's Strongest Man, Britain's Strongest Man. That's the one. That's the goal. And then after that, you know, next year's going to be a big year. We've got
because you had a lot of condensed now from September till now.
Yeah.
At least next year it's going to be more spread.
Yes,
out.
that'll be nice. That'll be good. So we'll hopefully the documentary that the Mulligan brothers, that's going to be coming out next year. That'll be on Netflix. Stoltman Games, we're wanting to bring a strongman Highland Games event to Invergordon, which would be cool, because we used to have it every year in Invergordon. Used to be a Highland Games.
Send me up.
Yeah, 100%. No, we're getting you. You're there. But that kind of passed away for whatever reason, so we'd like to do it.
Bring it back.
Bring it back, you know, and have like top 10, 12 of the world's strongest men come into our little town of Invergordon. You know, that's something that
It's massive.
yeah, it'd be pretty cool, you know, to give back. Again, it's like showing the kids as well that there's something else that we can do, you know, so that would be cool. We're wanting to open some more gyms next year as well. That's, or over the next few years, that's the next plan as well. But again, like we call it Stoltman Strength Centre, but it's not just physical strength, it's mental strength as well. So a place where you can be safe in the knowledge that, you know, you have that supportive network. So that's quite important for me to do. The business, the brand, the merchandise style thing, you know, become more of like a gym apparel company. So I look to like likes of Ben Francis of Gymshark, you know, there's a lot of inspiration. They're now, you know, £1 billion plus company, and I think that's so inspirational. You know, he's from Birmingham, a young guy from Birmingham, to make this £1 billion company. So I'm like, well, why can't we do that? You know, why can't we have a £1 billion company? Again, that's really exciting, and just keep. I don't know, just keep doing what makes me happy. This is, you know, talking makes me happy. Competing makes me happy. Trying to, you know, give things back to Scotland, to the town we're from. That kind of makes me happy as well. Cold water swimming. I think Wim Hof, we're going to do something with Wim in April, so that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, just trying to spread the happiness vibe, you know, just trying to be happy. And I think if we're happy, then other people will hopefully follow that kind of, the pursuit of happiness. You know, that's something that I think we all need to be on, and yeah, lots of cold water swims. That's basically it. So it's going to be a busy year when I'm breaking it down. It's
Cool.
actually,
That's cool.
yeah, so it's good. It's exciting. I'm really excited for the documentary because the guys captured Tom and I before we started on this mindset journey as well, so they could see
April, you said.
when it's coming out.
Yeah.
First half of
Oh,
22.
cool.
So
Looking forward to it.
yeah, it should be really good. But it'll be interesting to see the difference of the mind. You know, how Tom and I were initially when they started filming compared to now, and what's happened as a result of that. You know,
For you as well.
yes, yeah, for sure, definitely. It's I can't wait to see it because before last year when I didn't make the final of World's Strongest Man, I hadn't started this mindset and I wasn't focused and stuff, or as focused, sorry, in the mental side of things. And then cut a year later, completely focused, completely changed, made the World's Strongest Man final, and I should have, but things happened. I was on course to get the podium, then won Europe's Strongest Man, won Glasgow. You know, all these things happened because of that. Yeah, so, and tomorrow, yeah. So it's exciting to see that, and I think that could help a lot of people as well, to see that change, you know, that mindset. And geez, these guys were, you know, dyeing their hair blonde, getting spray tans, jumping around, being a fucking idiot, and now they're really focused and winning things. Imagine that. Yeah, it's just, it'll be cool to see, but yeah, it's going to be a busy year, and then yeah, just carry on with the Giants live shows as well. We've got Rogue Invitational after this next week, so it's busy. It's cool. It's I'm just thankful that we can, you know, being busy is good. You know, being relative, you know, as long as we stay relative, and I think we just carry on being us, try to do some kind of collaborations with like-minded people, yeah, and just try and take over the world basically.
Yeah.
So it's not that much really, just yeah, be the new Jeff Bezos of strongman or something like that.
Why not?
Yeah, why not, exactly. You know, even trying to do other guys' merchandise and stuff through our website, that's something that we're talking about. So I've been chatting to Andy Black about that.
Nice.
Alexi, I think he's going to come on as well. Just speaking to Pa downstairs. So, you know, if we can...
Because if you do that, you'll help each other. Win-win.
Exactly, yeah, definitely. And no one's under pressure for... Because a lot of us as athletes, and we feel pressure to do every show because, you know, the financial gains that we get if we do well, we get paid well, which is nice. But if all us, like the top guys in strongman, were generating an income out with the competitions, that's a win-win for everyone. It's a win-win for the giant shows, you know, Whoosh shows, Rogue, because then they're getting the best athletes there because we're full-time, we're able to recover right, do the mindset stuff, train right, and we don't have to worry about having, you know, that 9 to 5, whatever it is. So I think that's quite a cool, a wee journey that we can do because, you know, we've got great guys that kind of support us in that business,
Yeah.
and that's really important. So then if we can then pass some stuff on to other guys, it's a win-win, you know. So hopefully take on a few more athletes if they want to work with us for the merchandise side. Keep the guys that are working for us busy. Yeah, back to 14-hour shifts. That'd be
To the
nice.
fort.
But yeah, it's just an exciting year. I think for us the confidence thing, because we managed to start something during COVID and the pandemic. So
You've been through hell, so now it's going to be easy.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
So, yeah, I mean, I hope so. Jeez, maybe it's just going to come crashing down.
No.
But yeah,
Dream is
'cause
too big.
I hope so. And just keep doing what we do, and just be the
Be you. Yeah.
be the successful, assertive, confident, focused Luke Stoltman that it should be, and then everything else kind of falls into place. Because as soon as you kind of not know who you are, but as soon as you kind of learn to deal with those doubts and everything, then everything else just becomes easy. And all I'm doing now is I'm just being happy and just enjoying what I'm doing, and I think that's pretty special. You know, I've gone through 16 years of being on an oil rig, and yeah, not enjoying that so much. So now, you know, I know it's time. Yeah, I mean, I've done my
You paid your dues.
Yeah. And you know, for me, that's the thing now, because I know what it feels like to be in the other,
Yeah.
you know, working 14, 15 hours a day, flying straight from the oil rig out to compete at these shows, and
Back again. And
yeah, so it's not so nice. And don't get me wrong, you know, like we say, I had to go through that, but now, yeah, there's no way I'm going back to that kind of old lifestyle. So it's, yeah, just keep trying to improve the mindset, and that's it. Simple.
to the pursuit of happiness.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure, man. Thanks so
And
much.
I'll see you for a cold swim in December.
Yes, looking forward to it, man. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
Okay.
it. Thank you.
Thank
Cheers.